Welcome to Imagine Peace, the podcast that invites you on a transformative journey toward a world filled with harmony and understanding. Together, let's ignite the flame of peace within ourselves and radiate it outward so we can have a future where unity prevails. This is Imagine Peace, where dreams become reality. Join us as we explore the power of compassion, the beauty of diversity, and the potential for positive change. Welcome. I'm Marbeth Dunn with 10 Million for World Peace, along with my partner and co-host, Terry Angel. And today we have the great good fortune to interview a very dear friend, Dr. Yugandhar. He's an awakened one on the path of spiritual mastery. He's a visionary and a pioneer in transformational medicine. He has dedicated his life for the awakening of human consciousness and spirituality. He's trained as a general surgeon in the conventional system of medicine, but he advocates for inner transformation as a major healing tool. His favorite work is Awakening of the Hara consciousness, which he discovered in his early childhood. His studies of various spiritual schools of thought and the healing arts, scriptures, and metaphysics exposed him to diverse fields of knowledge related to spirituality. He is the initiator and mastermind behind the World Parliaments on Spirituality, nationwide global transformation festivals, and We Are One summits. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Yugandhar. As always, it's an honor and a privilege to be in your presence. So
thank you, dear Marbeth. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Terry.
Why don't you share with our audience all the work that you've been doing for world peace?
First, let us understand what this peace exactly. What is this peace? Is it having enough money? Is it having enough positions that are required for quality of life? Is it about the luxuries and comforts that many people aim for, long for, dream for, desire for? Is peace about one's relationships? Is peace about one's social and spiritual status? What is this peace all about? And it has to be cultivated, it has to be nurtured, and it can be spread. Only the people who have experienced peace within can spread the peace and promote the peace. In the name of peace, there are so many types of people, like people who talk about peace, who write about peace, the peace authors. There are some peace pilgrims as well. There are some peace businessmen for whom peace is a business, peace preachers, peace promulgators, and all types of people who are related with the activity within and without of peace. There are so many types of people. But the main point is how many have experienced the peace within. That is a primary fundamental focus. Every human being need to understand. Experiencing the peace comes with so many types of experiences related to pain and pleasure. Unless a person experiences and rises above the pain and pleasure, alone can understand peace. He who gets excited with pleasure, he who gets dulled, he who gets depressed with pain, cannot understand peace. He who rises above the vagaries, the extremes of pain and pleasure, can experience, understand, and promote peace. So the world peace experiments, the peace is something need to be experienced and nurtured. To spread peace is about making people understand the value of peace within and at an individual level, and at a global level, peace without. What is meant by peace without? Peace without is about stoppage of all belligerency, rivalry, animosities, hatred, and disharmony. All these things, when they are stopped between the nations, between the counties, between the cultures, between various types of diversities across the world, when we all feel as one, To experience the peace without, one has to understand the peace that is within oneself. We are born with peace. Unfortunately, we have become pieces. And all these pieces need to be clubbed. All pieces need to be adherent with each other. They need to work in coalition, in coherence, as one collective consciousness. Then we can experience the peace in a real way, the way it has to be experienced.
Can you tell us about your world parliaments for spirituality? You're so
Yeah.
modest that you're not sharing about the work that you've been doing.
Like we have political parliaments across the world in every country, the political leaders who are the representatives of the people, they meet periodically in the House of Parliament, be it Europe, be it North America, be it Latin America, be it India, everywhere. We have parliamentary houses for the elected representatives of the people. These elected representatives of the people we are calling as politicians or political leaders or social leaders. They have they are bringing a lot of policies. They are bringing a lot of reforms. They are bringing a lot of transformation and change, which is useful for that particular country. And the globe, as such, is divided by so many types of nations because we are drawing lines vertically, horizontally, and different types of shapes and calling them as nations. And the concept of nationalism has been fueled, promoted, imbibed. And that is the purpose of every national government. By way of promoting nationalism, we are also making the people fall in a type of pathological love with their own nation in such a way that they're developing hatred for other nations. That has become a precursor or a stimulus for world wars. After the two physical world wars, there started a Cold War and separative consciousness among the people. People defining themselves as I belong to one nation, I speak one language, I belong to one culture, or tribe, or group, or community. The very definition of every human being in terms of all these parameters cannot really bring world peace. Based upon this premise or idea or concept, we started a parliament for all the spiritual beings of the world. If there is one parliament, instead of political parliament, if we have a spiritual parliament, based upon the people who think and feel and believe that they are spiritual, if you have a parliament for all these people, then the real togetherness, the real oneness, and the real peace, everlasting one, can happen. This is the main motto, aim, and purpose of the World Parliaments. And we initiated this in the year 2012 from the city of Hyderabad, where our dear Marbat also was an esteemed speaker. Apart from that, she came along with a delegation of few more American speakers, and it was a beautiful big event for 5 days in Hyderabad city in India. And we decided to continue for every 4 years, once in 4 years. The second World Parliament took place in the US in 2016, and the third one, because of pandemic, we could not do it as a ground event. We were forced to go virtually, and we did continent-wise. Almost 175 countries participated. There were speakers from 175 countries. That was a very big event beyond my imagination and expectation. So many people got involved because the person-centric models in the world will lead to wisdom-centric models. Because when wisdom becomes the epicenter, it has a longevity, it has sustainability. If we bring energy, build energy around our own self, personal self, that energy will fade away with the demise of that person. But if we build a wisdom centric model or idea centric model or a vision centric model, it has long life. Based upon this idea, we are making people think in terms of collective consciousness than individual consciousness. Creating this type of unconditional unity consciousness is going to be the real new civilization of the world through this parliament on spiritualities. We have two types of activity in the spiritual parliaments. One is pure spirituality, which focuses on the self relation aspects. the inner aspects of one's self, and applied spirituality, where the inner wisdom gets applied to various dimensions of social reality, like spirituality for health, spirituality for education, spirituality for environment, spirituality for family well-being, spirituality for women and youth empowerment, spirituality for business and management, spirituality for governance and politics, spirituality for media, yoga, so on and so forth. So we have devised around 15 types of activities, and the pure and applied spirituality put together will really bring the world peace in a magnanimous way. That is the main vision and mission of the World Parliaments, and we are geared up for the fourth edition of the World Parliaments. This time as offline event, ground event, physical event, continent-wise, and we are going to see this fourth World Parliament in all the 6 continents. In Asia, it is going to be in Hyderabad, and in Europe, it is going to be Barcelona. In Latin America, it is going to be in Buzios. Buzios is a city close to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Oh,
And
lovely.
in North America, we are thinking of Austin. It is not yet finalized. Yeah. The above 3, Asia, Europe, and Latin America have been finalized with the dates. North America, to be finalized. Australia in Melbourne, and Africa in St. Johannesburg. So these are the 6 venues for the World Parliaments.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. You have done so much. And I was at that first spiritual event in Hyderabad, and it was really amazing. It was so beautiful. I have so many beautiful memories of it. And now they're going to be on 6 different continents with it. You must tell us how we, with our 10 million for world peace, how we can become involved with it. So you do think, I would say, that world peace is possible in our lifetimes?
Yeah, peace is always it is a possibility within, as I spoke. Peace within is always a possibility, provided each individual, each human focuses on the being aspect. Humans are not beings, unfortunately.
No.
Humans are only humans. They need to awaken the being aspect. Once they awaken the being aspect, the peace within blossoms. And once a certain type of critical mass is reached, as you are all aiming about, you are talking about 10 million people. So, like this, when several projects like this manifest, and several people who think, feel, and believe that they are the peace ambassadors or peace pilgrims or the peace promulgators, if they all join hands and move together as one single unit, the beingness become a dominant factor for all humans. And definitely it is going to be possible. It's all awakening of the critical mass. I strongly believe.
Can you tell us why you think meditation is important for peace?
Meditation helps in making several inner dimensions of the mind coherent. The mind works in a dissipated way, in a disseminated way, in a divisive way. So this separative attitude is the instinctual or inbuilt element of something called as mind. When we use the word mind, it is always divisive. It is always separative. It talks about uniqueness. It doesn't talk about commonness. When the mind dissolves, the spirit awakens. So meditation helps in dissolving the mind so that the soul takes over. The spirit takes over. What is spirit? Spirit is nothing but the cohesive nature or uniting nature or unison of all faculties and dimensions of mind. It is not different from mind, but it synthesizes. It makes us feel as one. When mind makes us feel as unique, different, the soul speaks as common. So meditation helps in awakening of the spirit, awakening of the soul. Meditation is must. But meditation is the state of consciousness. It's not a method. There is no method for meditation. Because there is no method for meditation, we can't teach meditation. Meditation has to be experienced, understood. We can speak of meditation, we can talk of meditation method, we can introduce meditation, but we cannot provide or make others meditative. We can inspire them, but they have to undergo this process, because spirit understands peace, the mind never. Mind cannot understand peace.
Beautifully said. So I know you have a favorite meditation technique. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, my pleasure, my honor. I always feel it is a privilege to talk about this particular one. Every given moment, every human being need to question oneself: Am I centered? Am I grounded? If one feels that one is not centered, stop all the activities. Stop absolutely all activities. Take time, a few minutes of your very precious time. Close your eyes and focus on the breath which happens in the belly. With every inhalation, the belly protrudes. With every exhalation, the belly goes within passively, slowly, without any jerks, without any pauses, and the mind dissolves. Most of the people are either head centered or heart centered. Head centered, when I say head centered, people are occupied with so many types of thoughts, analysis, projects, missions, to do list, purposes, whatever. When it comes to heart, it talks about so many types of emotions with things, with people, with one's own desires, one's own goals. There's so much of emotional chemistry. It's called as heartfulness. People either they are mindful or heartful. What I am trying to say is this heart and head need to merge and it becomes soul. So in this meditation, what I'm talking about, it is called as the place in the lower belly, which is visceral, is called as Hara in Japanese language, which means the center of one's being. And in Himalayas, it is called as Hiranya Garbha. Garbha means womb. Hiranya means gold. The golden womb. We all have golden womb. The place where womb is there, that is a place where everything lies. That is the center of Dharma. That is the center of Tao. That is the center of Advaita. That is the center of soul. So this head and heart become one, and the Hara gets awakened. Hara is the space, not a place exactly. So we are putting as a place in the lower belly, below the umbilicus, inside. It is actually a space within. It is the center of silence. And silence is the seat of wisdom. So catching hold of silence means catching hold of inner wisdom.
It's a beautiful meditation. I've done it with you. In fact, the last online event that you did, you ended it with doing that meditation. So it was so beautiful. Wonderful. How can our people how can they find you? Do you have a website where people can go?
There are many videos about what I have been speaking about. Dr. Yugandhar is search word. Many videos I made in English and my mother tongue, Telugu, and of course, one more language. English, I have a lot of videos about this Hara meditation. I will share it, I think, once again.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so very, very much for being
Thank you,
here.
Martha. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any final words that you'd like to share with our audience?
We must understand the shift from searching to sourcing. We need to get sourced. Our source is within. There is no search outside. To be happy without any reason is the highest form of happiness. If you have a reason to be happy, you will have the same reason to be unhappy. The real practice, the real purpose of any human being to be centered always is the purpose. The way every animal lives with great happiness, we all need to be happy. Everyone has to be happy for no reason and find the treasure within. That is my message. Thank you very much.